But at this point, our evacuations are continuing, and we're moving into a situation where we have law enforcement resources patrolling the various areas that have been evacuated to ensure that the community is safe and that those places.
Livecopter 3 capturing water rushing out of Oroville Reservoir as crews work to reduce the risk of flood for the thousands of homes laying in its path.
Our primary goal is to ensure safety of our community and the residents that we serve, and that is a big step forward towards that. Our objective is to lower the lake level by 50 feet in order to prepare for future inflow of water due to storms and precipitation.
A developing situation in Northern California tonight. In the last few minutes, we have received an updated number that more than 130,000 people have been ordered to evacuate because of a damaged dam that could give way.
So we had to make a very, very critical and difficult decision to initiate the evacuation of the Oroville area and all locations south of that.
Tens of thousands of people in Northern California have no idea when they will be allowed to go home. They were evacuated yesterday over concern that recent rain could cause a spillway to fail at the nation's tallest dam.
Still a dynamic situation. It's still a situation we're trying to assess. We need to have time to make sure that before we allow people back into those areas, it is safe to do so.
Welcome back. Rain forecast for Northern California is renewing fears of a flooding disaster at the United States' tallest dam.
Nearly 200,000 people evacuated from their homes in Northern California are still unable to go home.
So far it's holding, and that's why the evacuation is still in place, because there's uncertainty. And the norm is better be safe than sorry.
When do you let people back?
I would anticipate that we will be able to make a decision in the relatively near future. But the bottom line is I want to make sure that the decision I make keeps people safe.
Evacuation orders have now been lifted for nearly 200,000 people living downstream.
We have concluded that it is safe to reduce the immediate evacuation order currently in place to an evacuation warning.
An evacuation warning, the sheriff explains, means everyone can go back home for now.
We're telling them that they have to be vigilant, they have to pay attention to what's going on, and there is the prospect that we could issue another evacuation order if the circumstances change.
Nearly 200,000 people are finally able to return home in Northern California after they were forced to evacuate on Sunday. Billions of gallons of water continue to pour down a damaged spillway from Lake Oroville.
Good morning. Well, so much water is being released from the Oroville Dam that the Feather River is running over its banks here in some places. New storms are headed this way, and people here are now living under an evacuation warning, meaning they can come back, but they still need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
And yesterday, we lifted the immediate evacuation order and replaced it with an evacuation warning. It's important to remember that this is still an emergency situation.
They are bracing for another round of heavy rain this weekend, and that could bring more trouble to those living near an endangered dam in Northern California.
We're back with our national lead. More than 100,000 people in California who rushed to leave their homes under the mandatory evacuation order on Sunday are now finally being allowed to return home.
Yeah, Jake, you can hear the helicopters behind me. They're all part of shoring up the dam, and this has played a big role in it. The sheriff praising emergency responders, saying they've done so much heavy lifting and so much good work. They're now allowing residents to return to their home and businesses to resume under an evacuation warning.